start with you, because we had heard from Anthony Edwards. He has all of these goals that he stated on media day, but what has he been doing to really try to drill down in this offseason to improve?
So the Timberwolves lose second year in a row, quick exit in the Western Conference Finals in May. Then days later, Anthony Edwards shows up to the Timberwolves practice facility in June, and he was a consistent part of playing and participating in all basketball activities in that facility from June onward, the entire offseason. And what the Timberwolves saw is leadership from him, and that meant that other players, other vets on that team followed suit. And it was a very active gym for the Timberwolves in the offseason. And from a basketball shape perspective, my understanding is he showed up to training camp with a 3.5% body fat percentage.
Isn't that like what bodybuilders
pretty
have?
Elite body fat percentage for Anthony Edwards. I don't know where that stands in terms of how elite, but it has to be up there.
Bobby, from you to...
Well, I don't know about me with body fat. I thought you were going to say my body. And listen, I went back and looked at LeBron. When LeBron came out in 2003, he was at 6.7%.
Wow.
So when you look at Anthony Edwards, here's a player who's played 79 games 3 years in a row, has only missed a total of 9 games. The one thing I'm interested in, and Sham's made a good point about his mid-range game. Last year, we saw 3-point attempts at 11 per game. The prior year, it was right around 6. So there was an added increase last year to go outside on the perimeter. Is that going to go a little bit lower this year as far as with the focus on the mid-range?
And this is a shot diet from last year that we're looking at. And we know what Anthony Edwards can do, right? But is it just on him individually here, Ramona, for this team to be able to take the leap in a Western Conference that's become even more crowded?
Well, if you ask him, it is, because he is a leader, as Shams was talking about. He's going to put that on himself. But I think it's a big part of this is on Julius Randle. And he's signed to an extension here. He's settled into Minnesota. Last year, remember, he came over in that end of the offseason or early part of the preseason. Kind of was still processing, getting traded from New York.
Yeah.
And I think he's really talked about how much that last couple of months in New York affected his mental health. And now he's comfortable in Minnesota. They have a whole season to integrate him into that offense. They know how to play together. And in the playoffs, what did we see Oklahoma City do? They targeted Anthony Edwards. They were swarming him. If he has another guy who can score, who can create for this offense, that's going to take so much pressure off of him.
I think the other question for the Timberwolves here, right, is point guard. They started Mike Conley in this preseason game, but he's going to be a 20-minute guy a night, not necessarily a 30-minute guy a night. We've seen Rob Dillingham maybe a little bit. What are they looking at there, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this since I think we were doing Summer League, and you said, who are the X Factors for Minnesota? I said, Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon, because you lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker to Atlanta. Now you have Dillingham, who you drafted in the lottery a year ago. You have Shannon. I would look at Dante DiVincenzo also, who they acquired last year in that trade. But this is an important year. I went back and our great research group looked at the last team that got to a conference finals 3 years in a row. Minnesota's done it twice and lost was that Pistons team from 2005 to 2008. But remember, they won a championship the year prior to all that. Minnesota hasn't yet.
Whoever it is at point guard, I think the Timberwolves are hopeful that there's a different part of Anthony Edwards' game that's going to get unlocked and make the offense easier, especially in the fourth quarter of those late game situations in the playoffs. When the ball stagnates, you don't want Anthony Edwards just dribbling all the time around the 30 feet, 25 feet line, and he's having to deal with double teams. If you can get him in that mid-post area, that's where he spent the offseason working on his mid-range shot, his post-up shot, his post-game, his fadeaways. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant were his two inspirations this summer. He studied their film. I'm told he has an intermediary with Michael Jordan where he's getting advice from MJ as well on what he can do with his post-game. He spoke a little bit about it on Media Day.
That's a pretty good person to be chatting with if you're trying to improve your post-game.
I don't have that
picking up the phone and calling Michael.
Who's that middleman? I want to
Exactly. And can we maybe make an acquaintance there so we can get him on the phone? Hey, let's check out some of Tuesday's best preseason highlights because there were plenty around the league. Our NBA Today Big Three. Let's start with getting a look at one of the newest members of the Lakers, Marcus Smart, who our Dave McMenamin reported went through his most complete practice yet with LA. This is on Tuesday. That's how we capped things off, Ramona.
That's like a Pilates drill that turned into a trick shot. That was amazing.
You know what?
Look at that. Look at that core strength.
Core strength, really, to be able to get that in. And then coming in at number 2, Dalen Terry. This isn't Pilates anymore. This is the Chicago Bulls. Saved the game. This emphatic block on Thomas Bryant. That's Asia Wilson-esque right there, sending it into the stands in the final seconds of regulation. So that checks in at number 2. The top play of the night, it goes to Johnny Furphy. If you all remember, right?
Oh, we always
He's been on
remember
a
this.
dunking tour to start his rookie of the year. Back to summer league. Poor Noah Asenge.
Oh.
The meme heard round the world. Don't worry, we're going to pause it for you. It was everywhere.
No.
It was everywhere. So it resulted in probably one of the funniest things we've seen this summer. And then during training camp, this is Furphy.
Is he doing the dunk contest? Is he doing the dunk contest?
He's gotta be.
And that was on his teammate, too. And then going back to last night against the Timberwolves. Nice little takeoff
I love the Pacers picking up 94 feet in a preseason game.
I mean, we saw the intensity in Summer League. So clearly, Pacers fans,
look at him.
Furphy's one to watch here.
Brings it back. Oh, nasty. George goes to the house. Hello, nasty.
So our friend Kevin Pelton, he was crunching the stats, and he dropped his annual NBA win projection column on ESPN.com. So we thought we'd run through some notable predictions, a little coast to coast here. Let's start with the reigning champs. They have the highest projection, 59.2 wins. The Thunder, they won 68 games last season, and if that sounds low, it's the highest projected total since the 2017-18 Warriors. So, Bobby, any chance OKC doesn't hit 60?
They're not going to hit 60. They're going to hit 70.
Whoa!
I'm going to put them right on the spot right now. I just think even if there's games where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Chet Holmgren take the night off, this team has enough depth to get the 70 wins in the Western Conference.
I don't know that I disagree with you in principle, Bobby, but at the same time, when you're going back-to-back, haven't you learned? You don't go for it all the way in the regular season. Let's go to the Cavaliers. They tipped off their preseason last night against the Bulls. Cleveland projected at 50.1 wins this season. That's the best in the East. They will, though, start the year without Darius Garland and Max Strus. Shams, are the Cavs worried at all about those roster spots?
Malika, they're hopeful that Darius Garland is back early in the regular season, but Max Strus is going to miss significant time. That's why they're monitoring and have interest in a free agent. That's Malik Beasley. He's undergoing and still is in an ongoing NBA investigation. 1 month into an investigation, we'll see if he's cleared. He needs that NBA clearance to be able to sign with a team, either the Cavs or elsewhere.
All right, keeping an eye on Malik Beasley potentially for that roster spot. Now, the Lakers, they're projected at 45.8 wins. They won 50 last season, but according to Pelton, they only have 4 players on the roster projected to be above league average. That's the fewest in the NBA. So, Ramona, is depth going to be an issue for LA?
It's always their issue, but the reason why they're always projected a little lower in Kevin Pelton's thing is because it takes 45 minutes to get from Los Angeles to Vegas. So there's always Laker fans going there and betting the over on the Lakers. That's just Vegas makes a lot of money on purple and gold.
Okay, so we got a little inside information there and some travel details as well.
Yeah.
All right, the biggest surprise, though, at least for me to come out of this column, how about the Warriors? They're projected at 56.1 wins. That's the second highest in the league and 10 wins over where ESPN Bet has them right now. So whether the numbers back them or not, the confidence, it is always high in Golden State. I spoke with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond leading up to the season. Take a listen.
It seems like whenever we talk about the Golden State Warriors, we talk about the phrase maximizing the end of Steph Curry's career. Do you think that the Warriors, even dating back to the Jimmy Butler trade, do you feel like that's what's happening here, is a maximization?
I think you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen when it comes to what that actually means.
I'm asking the chef.
I know, and the idea of, like, you know, it's really unique what we've been able to do, for how long we've been able to do it. Like, we're relying on that expertise and IQ and knowledge now, you know, to overcome Father Time. Me, Draymond, obviously being here for as long as we have, and Jimmy, you know, joined us last year. I'm excited about it.
When Jimmy Butler was traded here in February, you said that this team, this group, is going to win a championship. Does that declaration carry over into this season?
It definitely does. Unfortunately, Batman went down with a hamstring injury, and it kind of changed the outlook on things a little bit. But nonetheless, we think we're even in a better position now to win a championship than we were last year. Last year, Jimmy didn't even know any defensive terminologies. We were just making it work. You know,
He was just yelling at Buddy.
Absolutely, you know, and so I think we actually have an opportunity to build this thing the right way and work towards a championship the way you have to do it.
We kind of got a little bit of a sample size last year, but it was a tease. But knowing that that was there, what can this team be this season?
At the top, which is what we know, it's what we envisioned, and what we're going to show everybody. We know, but you do have to go out there and you do have to do it. You got to compete and beat the best teams. And we got some really good players. One in particular, number 30. And like I always say, you got a really good chance when 30, AKA Batman, is on the floor. So life is good.
You could close the chapter now. 4 rings, defensive players of the years, MVPs, finals MVPs. But how much do you talk about that fuel for 5?
That's all we talk about. Like getting that 5th ring, like what that would be like and what we need to do to get it done. That's the only focus, is to do that and get, like, when I talk about it, I'm at a loss for words because how did we even end up in that position? You know, like it takes you back. But yeah, you gotta snap out of it real quick because we know what it takes to get it done. I think if we stay healthy, I don't see any team out there that we can't beat.
When you go toe-to-toe, top to bottom, we feel like we match up well with anybody, and we just want to have an opportunity to show that in the playoffs. The idea of when we won in 22, like if you told me in training camp that this was the team that was going to win it all, like I would have believed it. I think there's a little similarity there, but Jimmy adds another dynamic that we didn't even have back then, so I'm excited to kind of see it all the way through.
Our NBA reporter covering the Warriors, Anthony Slater, is joining us.